Hey, everybody. Good morning. It's a bright and wonderful morning over here on the wild side. Oh, wait, on the creek side, the dry creek. So instead, I got my artesian well flowing. That's about the only creekness that's going around. Hey, Royce and Jennifer. Good to see you again. We'll see if anybody else shows up. But like I said in my post, I wanted to try this to see if I'm able to play videos, because my friend K-Dog asked me if I was going to do the video review as a live format or as a video format. And that got me thinking that maybe if I could play little video clips that I prepare in advance, then I could do it live, because I don't like editing. And it's not nearly as good, but anyway, that's where we're at. All right, so let's see. I'm going to click on some buttons around here and see if I can do anything. Allow the applications below to record the content of your screen and audio, even while using other applications. All right, that's fine. I need a password. All right. May not be able to record. Click and reopen. Oh. Window. Okay. All right, guys. I think I'm figuring it out. Downloads. Share. Now it's going to show my whole freaking downloads folder. Can you guys see anything? Hey, good morning, Milan. You're here today. We missed you yesterday. All right. Can you guys see my downloads folder on the screen? I'm going to need some help here. Need some help. Somebody else entered the chat there. All right, let's see. No, okay, no, you can't. Well, let's see what happens when I do this. Okay, this is not working. Well, that's weird. Hey, welcome everybody. The numbers are going up, so welcome. Good morning. What I'm telling everybody is that I'm trying to figure out if it's possible to show a video while doing this. So I'm gonna click something. Oh yeah, here we go. All right. Or is it just gonna share in the chat? All right. I guess you guys cannot see that video, even though it seems like I went through the proper steps. So let's try it again. Oh, whoops. Okay. Window, and click the movie, and to share audio, share a tab instead. Oh, okay. Chrome tab. But there is no tabs to share. Contents for your screen. The site will be able to see the contents for your screen. Okay. Looks like it's not going to work, folks. Oh, I'm sure it's possible. Oh, here we go. They just gave me a pop-up saying, let's try playing, oh, whoops, video. Oh, yeah, that's not, I thought they were giving me a tip. None of this stuff is ever easy. It's not like they don't make it intuitive. They make it fine for some people, but not morons like me. Set up an overlap for your brakes. No, that's not what I'm looking to do. What is OBS, Milan? And outside, I think that what I got to do is stream my live streams through a different app. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I found that out a long time ago. Um, when I looked into it before. Well, that's a bummer because I thought that YouTube would provide a option for that, and we would figure it out this morning. But apparently not. They say share screen. You mean hold my phone up, Jennifer? It's ghetto. I like it. Let's try it. All right, where's the video? Watch this. This is like, this would be high tech in the 90s. Being able to stream a video on your phone while streaming to public. In the 90s, this would have been like amazing. But nowadays, this is ghetto. But I bet it'll work. Oops.
And so it is with great pride that I can announce the student body has elected to get rid of the transgender.
Can you hear that? This is the video that I was talking about on the live stream yesterday. I want to make a video about the 3 levels of storytelling in movies, well, and commercials and TV shows and stuff. And so I got these clips that I talked about yesterday in the live stream yesterday. I got this one and then the Sons of Katie Elder. And so I was going to make a video about them. And so that's what this clip is. It's the South Park clip that I talked about. And so if you can hear it, is the audio really good? Because I could even connect my speaker and then the audio will be even better. Google Definition OBS allows you to capture your computer screen, webcams, and audio in real time, mixing them together and broadcast them directly to platforms like Twitch. Oh, okay. Google Definition OBS. So that's an app, I'm assuming, a separate app. I'll look into that then after this. Gotta write it down on my phone. What, dog? What do you want? My dogs just got done eating. And now they're looking to get out of here or something. Well, poor Sparta, she for streaming. Poor Sparta, she likes to go for a walk. She's out of sorts, and so everything has to be the same. Hey, good girl. Come on, let's go. Come on. Or else she gets really confused. So if she eats, if she doesn't go for a walk right away, then she's really confused. Hey. Let's see, I opened the door and she got scared. But good old Maddie's still normal. Poor Sparta. See, now she gets scared, and so she just goes back to bed where she feels safe. So the good thing is that Sparta has a place that she feels safe, because as we all know, this day and age, everybody needs a safe space. All right, go on out, Sparta. Especially immigrants. Speaking of, remember, this is the channel where I say anything I want. It's not like my other channel where I try to keep it widespread audience. Anybody watching that movie by Uwe Ball? Milan, you're German. Maybe you can't even talk about it without getting in trouble. But Uwe, I think you say his name is Uwe Ball. He's a German filmmaker. And honestly, he's not a great filmmaker, but he's prolific. He makes a lot of films. But anyway, he made this one called Citizen. Oh, I just saw your. Okay, Citizen Vigilante. Citizen Vigilante. So the content of the movie is great. And apparently it's banned in Germany and a couple other European countries. And apparently I lost a viewer. I wonder how they took that immigrant comment, because it was sarcasm. Anyway, he made this movie that makes a good point that it's more like cathartic. It's not like a profound point. It's like, yeah, we all know this. He just put it on screen. And he did well. He did a good job at it, but it's getting some hype. Not huge, of course, because the media isn't going to cover it, but we'll see what kind of swelling it gets as it raises popularity, it gains in existence that the public knows about it. So that'll be interesting to see. All right, see, I let the dogs out. Now they're just standing there waiting for me. Well, that's because Maddie always finishes off Sparta's breakfast. So poor Maddie, she can't think about anything but food when it's, well, most of the day. And so I always let her lick the bowl, so to speak. Because sometimes if I feed them too much, Sparta won't finish it because she's a dainty lady. And then Maddie used to steal Sparta's food, and I didn't know it. That's why she got so fat. So then when I started being really careful that Maddie didn't steal Sparta's food, and that I didn't overfeed her, she's lost a ton of weight, and she's a lot healthier, because I want poor Maddie to live long and prosper. But anyway, I still let her lick the bowl. So she can't think about anything else until she's done that. So, but poor Sparta, she just wants to go for a walk. So anyway, so I'm talking about, I guess nobody's seen that movie. Oh, I'm cutting in and out. Oh, gosh darn it. All right. Let's. Okay, we're back. Dead Wolf Resistance. I wonder when. I don't know why I would be having trouble with Starlink, but I moved it, and so it should function better. And I was just told how much you pay for it. For Starlink, I'm paying $55 a month for 100 gigs. Sometimes it works great. The speed isn't like that much better than my phone. I'd like to be able to cancel it and just use my phone hotspot, but I've tried that and it's not necessarily that reliable. The Starlink is great for traveling, like going out to hot springs, but yeah, it was $50 for 50 gigs, and that wasn't quite good enough, so they increased it to 100 gigs, and it's pretty nice, because 100 people who are trying to use the 50 gig plan should have plenty at 100. So for me, it's more than enough, where with 50, I had to be careful. Yeah, I made it back. Fortunately, it didn't make me start a whole new live stream. It let me come back. I moved my Starlink to a better position, where it's way out with no obstructions. So maybe that was the problem. Sucks that it was cutting out. I was saying, oh, sorry for that noise. That was probably loud. I was saying some really important, profound stuff that you won't hear anywhere else, but now that's gone with the wind, unfortunately. That's deadpan delivery, sarcasm. But I was talking about UA Ball. And Milan, I was curious if you've heard about it or if you were able to even talk about it. Um, it's a German movie maker and German filmmaker who made a movie called Citizen Vigilante. Milan, you may never have heard of it because apparently it's banned in your country, even though I think it was made in Germany. I didn't look where it was made, but I did. I know that he's a German filmmaker. Uwe Ball is his name. Anyway, he made this movie. He's not a good filmmaker, I'll say, and but he has a good heart. So I paid for the movie. I don't regret paying for the movie. It was $6 to rent it, and but hopefully a good portion of that goes to him. And he because what I do like about it, I mean, it was well made as far as like the editing and the video and the audio. That was well made. The acting was horrible, and the dialogue is pretty lame. But what I did like about it was he addressed that it's the judges and but he also it's a revenge movie, you know, about these rape gangs that they got in Europe and judges putting them back out on the street to offend again. And so it's kind of like a cathartic movie where this citizen vigilante who's uber rich goes out and takes revenge and distributes justice that we need. So he did make a pretty good storyline. It's like that vigilante tells people, look, you've got to start doing this for yourself, which is why it's banned. He's blatantly saying that Germans, Brits, French need to start taking their countries back. So that's why it's banned. We'll see how long YouTube lets us talk about it. Maybe this will get demonetized, or well, it's not even monetized. Maybe it'll get yeah, it's like the US too. The difference is we have weaponry, but in the movie he did. So anyway, I just watched that yesterday, and so yeah, what I got was these clips. I can go ahead and talk about it. I'll run my picture-in-picture video setup here. So I was talking yesterday on the live stream. I think you guys were all there about this South Park clip, and I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. So let's see if I can get it leveled out. This would have been high tech in the 90s, like I was saying. So I think it's hilarious now, but the funny thing is, would have been really impressive back then. All right, let me know how the audio is. So this is that clip I was talking about. This is the principal. This lady is the principal of the school. And these are all I don't know if they're all fourth graders or if it's the whole school. I know when I was in school, usually they had class at a time or grade at a time because we had so many students. So I presume it's all the fourth graders. So this is her talking about. So this episode was a problem with bathrooms because Cartman, if you don't know this show, Cartman is the fat kid who is rude and obnoxious. And you need to know, if you don't, that is a writing device where you create a character that everybody hates, and that way he can say all the offensive stuff. And another great example is Michael Scott from The Office. he made all those inappropriate jokes, which were hilarious. But the only way a TV show can get away with doing that is by making everybody groan. Imagine Michael Scott and everybody thought he was hilarious. That show wouldn't have lasted more than a couple episodes. It would have got pulled. Like, you can't make racist jokes and have everybody laugh at them, but you can make them if everybody groans and thinks, "Oh, that guy is so annoying." That's a writing device. So that's what Cartman is in the series of South Park. He's the guy who can say all the contrary views that you can't say these days. Like, he's racist, he's anti-Semitic, he's spoiled. He's a hilarious character, but everybody hates him, and he's always wrong. So the creators of South Park, they always end up on the woke side of things with their stories, but they're great storytellers, and they're great at making their points because they do show both sides. So you'll see here that Cartman is used. Oh my goodness, I'm cutting in and out again. Oh, it might be because of my phone. Maybe. Airplane mode. See if that helps. Okay, for you it's great. So maybe it's not me, but maybe that'll help anyway. My MacBook, I got told that if my phone is close to my MacBook, I can stream through both of them. And so maybe it's having connection problems. Okay, all right. Well, thanks. Thanks, Stanley. Maybe there's a connection issue on your end. Hopefully you can get that figured out. Yeah, but thanks, Stanley, for pointing it out. So that I appreciate anybody bringing that up. If you need to come back to this, it'll be recorded in public. So that's the important things here. This is the school principal. They've been having an issue with Cartman being transgender. He says it wrong. It's part of the joke. It's funny. He's transgender, so they give him a bathroom, and it becomes a big problem in the school. And so now the principal, after meeting with the other teachers, they're addressing the students with what they have decided. And so here we go. Let me know if the audio is still good or bad. Rats. All right. The audio is...
Of the transgender bathroom and give any fellow...
Okay. All right. Let's start it again.
And so it is with great pride that I can announce the student body has elected to get rid of the transgender bathroom and give any fellow student the right to use the bathroom they feel most comfortable in. I don't use the girls' bathroom if anyone can use it. It's going to be all crowded. Anyone who has a problem should...
All right. We'll go on in a little bit. But, okay, thanks, Milan. Good. So you see how there's all of this is just so full of detail. All right. Whoops. All right, I'm going to pause it.
So it is with great pride that I can announce the...
Great pride. So this is something that you're supposed to just beam with pride over.
Student body has elected to get rid of the transgender bathroom and give any fellow student the right to use the bathroom they feel most...
Any student has the right to use whichever bathroom they feel is the most appropriate. That's what she's saying here.
Comfortable in.
And now what I was talking about yesterday is movie making. And probably a lot of people know this. I don't know, but I'm pointing it out just to be super clear about how manipulation is made through commercials, TV shows, movies. So you notice how she makes her announcement, and now mass acceptance is a manipulation tool, because one of the biggest fears of humanity is being left alone, being cut out of the pack, being cut out of the herd. That's the biggest fear of humanity. That's why being on stage is a big fear. It's a similar thing. And so you can use that in marketing and storytelling by saying, okay, when a person is accepted by the masses, That means that person is moral and good. When a person is rejected by the masses, that means that person is morally bad, which is totally counterintuitive to the story of Jesus, where Jesus was counter to the masses and he was good. That's why, in my opinion, it's a evil message to tell people that you're good if you're accepted by the masses. Because I don't believe in mob mentality. Even though the Old West had a lot of that, I don't believe in it. I don't think it's good. Mob mentality takes humans back to animal behavior. And when you watch animals, they don't have any regard for anything but themselves. Now, my dogs love me, but it gets complicated. But anyway, animal behavior, they don't care when they're killing an animal. A human in his right mind, he'll take a deer because he needs to feed his family or he wants to use the meat, but he doesn't like take joy in it. Some guys do, but they're kind of sick. But anyway, maybe not making the strongest point here. But anyway, mass acceptance is how you manipulate. So they're telling this story. They're saying we take great pride that any child can use whichever bathroom he feels comfortable in. It's not saying, now notice what it's not saying. It's not saying if somebody is legitimately trans, that person can use the girls' bathroom. That's not what it's saying. It's saying any child who feels comfortable in the girls' bathroom can use it. Any child that feels comfortable in the boys' bathroom can use it. That's word for word what she just said there. I'm being really clear as possible. And then, okay, so the principal isn't necessarily the good guy. In this story, you watch the story through the children. And so when you present a moral issue or a moral claim in storytelling, you then have the character that the audience is watching the story through. You watch that character's reaction. And that's where the audience, because they're connected, and that's where they decide, oh, this is good, or oh, this is bad. Even if you don't agree, this is how you can watch a film to know what message is being told. And so that's why right here you get the reaction of the children. Listen to the music. The music is clearly inspirational, like very triumphant. It's great music. It's just kind of stupid that they're using it here. Oh, wait. I'll back it up just a little bit. Triumphant music, children screaming and cheering. It's like a rock concert. If that was a rock concert, you would know, oh, this band is loved, right? It's just simple techniques and tools like this. But and the thing is, this is how they write to appeal to your animal brain, your emotional brain. I need to watch again and see if those are exactly the same. They're not appealing to your logic. This isn't at all about reason and rationale, because if it was, they would say, whoa, 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 hold up. Wait, any kid can use whichever bathroom? So if there's some pervert that feels comfortable using the girls' bathroom, then you're welling up in pride that you're allowing that? Like, that's rational. Any person with a thinking brain is going to pick up on that, but this isn't a rational storytelling medium. This is an emotional medium. Rational is for podcasts and lectures. This is emotional, and this is why we often ask, because this show was hugely popular among millennials when they were kids. Like back then, it's like kids are watching this stuff. This is incredibly inappropriate. And nowadays there's jokes. How can millennials who grew up on South Park be offended about everything? Well, I'm showing you how, because emotionally, what these writers were creating in the minds of the kids that were watching it was all of this woke doctrine. So I'm just explaining why it works and how it works. So anyway, now let's go on. So then we see Cartman complain.
Anyone who has a problem sharing a bathroom with people who might be transgender will have to use the special designated bathroom designed.
Whoops, I forgot where we were. Okay, so the music. Now that is a contrast. That is an emotional contrast right there. So you get the music, you get the kids. It's long enough that the audience feels that, like, wow, this is good. And it does feel good. If you've ever been at a concert, which most of us have, and everybody's on the same page, it's like a spiritual feeling. Same with church. When you're worshiping, playing music, it's a spiritual connection that you get. I don't necessarily think it's godly because you get it from everything. And so anyway, the audience watching this, you're welling up with happiness. And then there's me, the contrarian. I'm not a contrarian by definition, but I call out things. This is why people in groups hate me. There's a group that I was a part of that hated me because I pointed out the flaws. That's what Cartman brings in now. This is why people emotionally are repulsed by the person who brings truth. Okay, now in this case, Cartman is not necessarily bringing truth, but you can see the emotional, whoa, we don't want him. And it's intentionally put in here. He's interrupting this great positive feeling that we're all so proud that any boy can go in a girl's bathroom. We're all so proud. We're cheering. There's music. And then, there's this guy. All right. So watch. That's the emotions. I'm talking about all the emotions going on.
Anyone who has a problem sharing a bathroom with people who might be transgender will have to use the special designated bathroom designed to keep them away from the normal people who don't care.
You hear that? What she said then? Okay, so she makes her announcement. The kids are all happy. We've got the one kid that complains, and of course, we just hate him. We hate anybody that complains about our special emotional feeling. Then watch her reaction, or watch how she goes on to emphasize the point. She says, she again uses popular appeal. For those of you who aren't normal and have a problem with this, well, we've given you a bathroom. It's called the sissy bathroom. That's a buildup of it. That's a joke that was built up in the show that they're calling, instead of cisgender, they called it sissy. So anybody who's cisgender, that means you believe in two genders. They're calling in the show, they're calling you a sissy. And that's the bathroom that those non-normal people can use. So that's what's going on here.
Anyone who has a problem sharing a bathroom with people who might be transgender will have to use the special designated bathroom designed to keep them away from the normal people who don't care.
Designed to keep them away from the normal people who don't care. Do you see what they're doing? It's the same philosophy as the Holocaust. They're just presenting it in a different way. And I know that as soon as you bring up the Holocaust or anything like that, all the Reddit type people will say, oh, you've lost your point. Sorry, guys, this is mass coercion to manipulate people into believing one thing and hating anybody who doesn't go along with them. So it's no surprise. This show, I think this season came out in around 2013, 2014. So it's no surprise that now, and since like 2016, it really ramped up to now, that we have a whole demographic of Americans that despise and call for the death of a certain group of Americans. Because I mean, this stuff is all over in shows and movies, and so it's meant to brainwash the population, which is the same thing that happened in Germany. You got to brainwash and convince the masses that this one group of people, and there wasn't just one, there was also the gypsies and everything else. I don't remember who all, but all of those guys are different and wrong, and they're ruining all of the peace and happiness and goodness that the rest of us all want. It's the same message. It's the same process. It's just utilizing different messages to get there. So it's the same critical aspects to it. So anyway, and then they finish it with a joke about Cartman. No, in this case, it's the other kid who has to. They emphasize the joke at the end. For any of you that want to watch the full episode, that is, I think it's season 18 too. Not a hard one to find if you Google it. All right. So you guys with me? Well, we lost 1 or 2 viewers, or else my phone just isn't showing it. But I'll go ahead and show the other video. So what this is it's the 3 levels of storytelling in movies. So this is the theme. So there's the story, like, oh, in that episode, Cartman uses the girl's bathroom and then claims he's a girl, and then the school gives him a bathroom. It becomes a problem, and so they decide they're going to take away his bathroom. That's the plot. That's the plot storyline in the film. Where did this video go? So that's like the first level. It's the plot. It's the actions that happen in the movie. Okay, thanks, Dead Wolf Resistance. The plot is the actions that take place. The theme is the moral issues that are dealt with. So like that vigilante, citizen vigilante movie I'm telling you about. So that could, you could take the same plot points, so everything that happens in that movie, and you could just apply it to a different theme. Like, okay, so this wealthy guy, he sees injustice and he goes out and distributes it. That could also be a woke message. Okay, this wealthy professor sees all these MAGA guys making fun of trans kids, and so he goes out and he kills these MAGA guys. It's the same plot points. The only thing, and that's why most movies are really formulaic. That's why you might hear that there's like 3 or 4 different stories out there. When you look at the plot points, it's the same plot point. Like Star Wars, that movie, people say, oh yeah, it was done 100 times already. So then what changes a movie is the themes that you place into it, or the setting, but also then the characters and the dialogue. And that's why, of course, Quentin Tarantino was such a big deal. He would take scenes from other movies and just put them together into a movie, but his dialogue was so unique that it made a unique movie. And so that's the difference that I'm trying to convey between the first 2 levels of storytelling. It's the plot points, the actions that happen, and then down below that, it's the way that the different characters deal with it and what moral message that you're telling or inspirational message. And so, like in Citizen Vigilante, the message is that that the government is allowing corruption in a country, and that the people need to stand up for themselves. And then the specific that's the general theme. And then the specifics are, well, this rape game that messed up a 14-year-old girl, and then the judge let them out because they were just struggling to find their place in this new land that they had moved to. And I think that's a true story. I don't know if it happened in Germany, but anyway, so this one's a little different. This is the John Wayne movie, The Sons of Katie Elder. And when I critique John Wayne movies, it's not because I don't like John Wayne. It's because I don't like the people writing the movies. John Wayne was awesome, but what you get is, I got to go close this door. It's making creaking noises. It's been driving me bonkers, and I only now remembered to go and and close it. Like, hey, I could stop that. So anyway, yeah, I love John Wayne, but I don't like the people that write movies. And even South Park, I don't know if that's the views of the creator or if the corporation heads told them, no, you can't go that way with this story that you're writing. We want you, it has to go this way. I don't know if the South Park writers really believe that or if they're just doing it so that they wouldn't lose their contract. But I assume they believe it to some point because otherwise they're a bunch of whores. Just doing it for their money. But I think that they do believe it. Anyway, it's clear that's the message that episode is showing. So on this one with Katie Elder, this is where, so we're talking, this setting is the Old West. So one of the things about the Old West that is kind of actually discouraging as a person who loves, you develop a love for the Old West through the movies. And then later in life, if you study the history, you realize, oh, yeah, the real history is far different from what I watched in the movies, read in the comic books, and all that. I call it the true history and the mythology. And the mythology isn't bad. It's just far different from the true history. So we're watching a movie here. It's not good history. Parts of it are like one of the things I love about this movie is that it takes place in different locations, and one of those locations that they're doing right here is they went and got a herd of horses. They found a good deal on horses, a big herd of them, so they went and bought them on credit, and then they're driving them to market to sell somewhere else. That's a great historical a view of history that is very realistic. That some guys out on a ranch would go and make money by delivering some horses. That's very real. So there's aspects of it that are real. Now in the Old West, and that's a great example of how hard work, struggle often created great wealth. There were a lot of people getting rich out in the West. Whether it was gold mining, whether it was cattle, whether it was stuff like this, just you see an opportunity and you do it. Setting up a store, setting up a saloon in the right place. Like they say that the people selling goods and the people selling alcohol made way more money in mining towns than any of the miners. That's a generality. Because the miners would make this money in gold dust and then go blow it and get drunk and buy prostitutes, alcohol, and more clothes and more mining gear so they can keep mining. So there's tons of people making money out there. It's not a place where you needed to go to school to make money. That's the important part here about the context of this story. We're talking the Old West, where men knew that if they go out and be a man, they could make good money. And sitting in school isn't going to help them at all. So you could make money hunting. You could make money trapping. Even though the trapping era was over, you could still make tons of money. You could make money freighting goods, packing goods. Where you didn't make money was farming. And that's where the farming was basically the families. The other guys were all mostly single guys enjoying their life in the West. Or they had a family, they had a ranch, but they went out and made money elsewhere. You get a lot of that in the New Mexico Billy the Kid story. A lot of those guys, they all owned ranches, but they went out and worked elsewhere. So lots of money to be made. No reason to go to school except that the moms insisted. And the Laura Ingalls story is a great example of that. Like Charles, the dad, he wanted to go farther west. But his wife said, I'll go west with you, but we've got to be close enough to a town where the girls can attend school. That was her requirement, which is pretty reasonable. I mean, if you're going to be in a relationship, you got to make compromises. And so that was a pretty good one. Charles Ingalls was an awesome dude, good husband, good father. But I do feel bad for him that he didn't get to go further west, because Caroline, his wife, insisted that the kids go to school. That's why I say, without shame, that it was women who civilized the West and men did it for them. Men were there implement, and it was women who did it. So anyway, that's the context of the Old West in reality. I mean, granted, now you had some Easterners, you had some already civilized men who came out West just to make money. Like a lot of times, you know, they were setting up stores because you can make money setting up a store. You get a financier back East who pays you to go out. So you have these guys coming out West with the trains that were already civilized and already believed in schools and order and law and stuff and all that stuff that allows corruption. But the point here in this story of the sons of Katie Elder was that these guys were all Old West men. So again, the audience. So the audience watching John Wayne movies, you got your adults and you got your kids. Kids used to watch Westerns thinking, oh man, I want to be a cowboy. Like my dad was one of them. He grew up in the Gene Autry era. Him and his friends would go to the theater and pay, I think it was a nickel or 25 cents to go to watch Gene Autry. And my dad told us how they would get so into it and they'd stand up on the seats yelling at the end, because there was always the end where Gene Autry is running to get the bad guy. And they're yelling, come on, Gene, come on, Gene. And they were so into it, you know, and kids, they admired the cowboys and thought one day when I grow up, I want to be a cowboy. So you got those guys watching the John Wayne, you know, the younger people thinking, man, I want to be a grown up like John Wayne and his brothers. And then in this episode or this movie, they've got the young brothers. So there's 4 brothers. One of them's supposed to be college age, like just out of high school. And so that is the person that the kids connect with. So watch this clip here to make this point that I'm trying to show, that even way back when, I don't remember when this movie came out. I did all that to adjust the camera and then I had to move it anyway. I don't remember when this movie came out, but anyway, 60s, 50s, probably 60s because of the age of John Wayne. But anyway, so watch the message that they're telling us in this movie. I don't know why they're doing this. They're turning off the audio. Oh, where's the audio? Huh. Guys, I don't know what's going on. Huh. All right, let's see if we can find it on this phone and connect the speaker, because this phone is really quiet. What did it connect to?
Where'd you learn that stuff?
Huh.
Not in college, I can tell you.
All right, here we go. For some reason, it's working. The audio is working through the speaker on this phone, so we'll just roll with that. And let's turn it up. Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. All right. There we go. There we go. Okay, here we go, guys.
Today, kid, pretty handy. Where'd you learn that stuff? Not in college, I can tell you. All we're trying to do is make you end up rich and respectable. You fight us every step of the way.
I don't want to be rich and respectable. I want to be just like the rest of you.
What's he doing, John? Sassing you again?
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it.
Ain't you got no respect for your elders?
Oh, ha ha, that ain't funny. I heard it before.
Yeah, I tell you one thing, Katie would have bloodied our backsides with a birch for talking back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, which one of you's man enough to fill in for Mom? Oh, no. Oh, no, you wouldn't? No! Hey, no! Oh, come on! Oh, let me...
pretty handy. Where'd you learn that stuff?
Nothing.
All right. Anybody pick up on the message on that one? This was, when was it? I'm not connected. Let's say it's the 60s. We're still pushing civilization at that time, where movies are promoting people getting into the status quo. Like, you got to constantly be. This is the thing about empires. And when America went after the Civil War, where the feds won power over the United States, that's when we really started toward being an empire more than a republic. That was the beginning of it. And we got rid of the militia system, which was our defense, so that we could never have a federal power that was too powerful by distributing all the power to the states. And we got rid of that system. We weren't supposed to have a federal income tax. The federal government was supposed to get its income by managing international trade. That's tariffs. That's why they're so against President Trump utilizing tariffs, because that takes power out of the hands of the feds. And instead, you burden the masses, because a wealthy and independent mass doesn't need their government. So you burden them with taxes, and you sneak it in by saying, oh, it'll just be for a certain few and it'll be small. And then you just keep raising them. And that's why we have now today where the average schmuck pays 30 to 40% in taxes every year of their income. And so I'm giving you the broader context of where we're at when this movie was made. So that's how America became an empire. And empires need their masses to all pretty much, like the majority of them, all need to toe the line for the government. And you do that by mass manipulation. You tell them about a fake history. So Thanksgiving, I love Thanksgiving, but it was implemented first by a woman with good intentions. It's a fantastic story. But then when it got momentum, then the government took it over. If I remember right, I could be getting stories mixed up, but if I remember right, she didn't like where they went with her Thanksgiving celebration. She pretty much popularized it and defined it. This was in the 50s, I think, 1850s. Well, she took decades to get it accomplished. And then the government took it over and used it as propaganda for federal, to look back and say, see what a great, powerful nation we are. And this is our beautiful history. And that wasn't the original intent of Thanksgiving. I'm not against Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. I defend it every year. But it did get taken by the government to use as propaganda, because you got to keep your people in line. And part of that is mental brainwashing, making up a history. That's why I like George Washington, but the federal government made him into this incredible superhero, basically like a saint. The Catholic Church uses saints. The federal government uses war heroes. And I like George Washington, but I don't think he's a hero. He killed somebody's son, and that was an American, and that had the very right to speak up for his rights. And President Washington had him hanged. And I don't believe that you can murder somebody's son and not go unpunished. And he was punished. His own son then was taken in sickness. And so to me, it's a clear connection. And then it wasn't long after we were a nation that President Washington took troops against his own people, against our own people, because they didn't want to pay taxes. That was the Bourbon Wars, which there wasn't any fighting, if I remember right. But he brought an army against these guys who didn't want to pay taxes. It's very American. And George Washington was not acting as an American. He was acting as a thug, as a mobster, And but the federal government lifted him up as this ultimate man. And but anyway, I'm going off. That's a whole nother tangent to go off on in a different video. The point is, the federal government has to use propaganda to keep people thinking the way they want them to think, because that ensures them staying in power. This goes on to the very first civilization. This is how the leaders of civilizations need to manipulate the masses in order to maintain control, because uprisings are a very serious thing to them. And so anyway, that's the context that we're in, and movies are very much used as manipulative propaganda. And that's why I'm showing you a Western. You would think this is where a kid could watch and be like, yes, us men, we don't like school. We like going out and being men. And then we watch this scene where John Wayne in his time was the ultimate man. And so what do the movie writers do? They use him to manipulate masses. That's why I hate old Westerns. I love old Westerns, but I also hate them because you got some, we don't know who wrote this. We don't know who, you get the directors. The directors were weasels. And then the corporate heads telling them this is the ultimate message that we want this movie to tell. They were not men. But they were defining what a man was, because all these kids watch this. I want to be like those guys. And they're getting this definition of a man from, we don't know their moral character, but it was not manliness. We know it wasn't. And so, and that's why I'm using this scene to show you guys what I'm trying to say. So remember, that's the context. The Old West, you can make, gosh darn it, you can make all kinds of money in the Old West without going to school. And listen to what John Wayne says. We want you rich and respectable. Like, wait, what does school have to do with being rich and respectable? Look at college students today. They get a bachelor's. They find out they don't make enough money, so then they go for a master's to barely get by, and now they complain about their school debt. Like, but they've got this great group of people, all the other college graduates, that have to justify their waste of time and money by feeling elite because they went to college. That's all that universities give you, is this false sense of superiority. Okay, I'm generalizing. There are in industries like engineers, and there's certain ways that you can go that it does make sense to, if you want to be an engineer, but heaven forbid being an engineer. But an accountant, that's a good one to go to school. But I don't think you need to go to 4-year school for that. I think you can get a 2-year accountant degree. I'm not sure. But anyway, so there's some, being a nurse, I think that still pays pretty well. Not here in my town, but in other towns. But to just say blanket, go to school so you can be rich and respectable. Like, there's tons of stories of guys out West making plenty of money, and they didn't care about school and being respectable. We're not talking about among men. We're talking about in town. We're talking about in the civilization. All right, so watch it again now that I point this out. But also, it is a pretty funny joke. I didn't pick up on the joke before. The young guy says, I don't want to be rich and respectable. I want to be like you guys, which is pretty funny. But still, the message is
College, I can tell you. All we're trying to do is make you end up rich and respectable. You fight us every step of the way.
I don't want to be rich and respectable. I want to be just like the rest of you.
What's he doing, John? Sassing you again?
Yeah, I don't know what to do with him.
Ain't you got no respect for your elders?
Oh, ha, ha. That ain't funny. I heard it before.
Yeah, I tell you one thing, Katie would have bloodied our backsides with a birch for talking back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, which one of you's man enough to fill in for Mom?
Okay, so who's Kitty? He says it right there. That's Mom. So what's this story about? It's about a woman having standards, and these men all needing to live up to the standards of the woman. Now, it sounds like I'm being anti-women. I'm just pro men and I'm anti-feminism. And that's what this is. It's all these manly men, John Wayne, and his whole moral code is what his mom wants. So that's what's going on here. And it's the subtle stuff. This is what I'm talking about. I didn't really emphasize it today, but they're focused on your brain, your emotional brain. So you get these guys that you connect with. You get this guy who's the contrarian to the message, the young guy. The three older guys are saying, you got to go to school. School's important. It'll make you a good person. And the kid is the contrarian, the one that's outside of acceptance. Nobody, as the audience, we're watching that and we think, oh, I don't want to be like him and be outside of the herd. I want to be accepted and respected by the herd. And so they use these three men to emphasize that point. And then they throw him in the river. And now here's the more emotion. It's a good time. It's a good movie. And I love this scene if I'm just enjoying it. And this is Sons of Katie Elder again. So it's a fun scene, but when you really look at the emotion that they're putting across, then you realize what a manipulative propaganda it is. Because then they throw him in the river and they all fall in. So it's just a good time. These guys just horsing around having fun. And then and John Wayne, of course, the big man, he didn't get in the river, just those dummies. But then they all grab John Wayne and even he gets pulled into the river. So it's a good time. It's a fun time. It shows that John Wayne, that's what I love about John Wayne. He's always the man's man, but he always gets humbled himself. And that's a good thing, but when you're using it so this scene ends with that playful and fun emotion. So the three guys, and that's what you want in your audience, is you want them to associate the message with good feelings. So that's why the first message is, well, these sons, their mom dies, they all come back together and they run into trouble. Like that's the first story. The second story is multiple storylines. Well, the young kid doesn't want to go to school. He wants to shortcut his way to being a man, which is really the way to be a man. But he has to go to school. And that's his story. That's the other storyline, the second story on the theme of what is manliness and what is responsibility. And it's pretty clear. But then the third, wait, no, that's not the third. What I'm showing you is the how they emphasize that with emotion. And if you're not aware of it, you don't realize that you're buying into this stuff. None of us are immune to this. If you think you're immune, you're getting caught up in it. The only way to escape this stuff is by realizing, oh yeah, I get manipulated too. I am just as susceptible to this as anybody. That's the first step toward escaping all of this. Same with normal society. So anyway, and then they conclude it, like I say, with this good time, fun time. And then the third story is less important, but this is where, like, this is the storylines that the directors and the writer may not have intended. But like when you've got four brothers coming together and you just write it, and then somebody, like, let's say that somebody had, John Wayne's old in this, and let's say somebody watching this had an older brother who was 20 years older than him. He'll pick up on things in this story that I'm not going to pick up on, because me, my brother, and my sister were all pretty close in age. And so that's like the unintended storylines that we can pick out. Or these guys driving herd on the horses. Maybe somebody who's done that, they pick up on things about it that the writers just kind of inadvertently wrote, but because there's four brothers together driving herd, there's some things that you can draw from that about the story, or stories that you can draw from it that were kind of unintended. So that's the three levels 3 levels of story writing that I'm talking about. So anyway, we'll just finish this scene off here. Whoops, shoot. Doggone it. Come on.
Backsides with a birch for talking back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, which one of you's man enough to fill in for Mom? Oh, no. Oh, no, you wouldn't? No! Hey, no! Oh, come on! Oh, join me!
Good today.
Oh, I guess
Pretty
that was
handy.
it. Okay.
Where'd
So
you
there we
learn
go.
that stuff? Not in college, I can tell you. All we're trying to do is make you end up.
So there you go. Just guys having fun together, fighting each other, but it doesn't turn ugly. That's good times. All right. So anyway, that's what I was going to make a video on. I still might make it to where it's edited and I don't blabber so much, but we'll see. That's the point. I wonder how many people stayed in and how many people left. We've only got a few viewers, but must have lost somebody. Anyway, thanks for hanging in there, guys. I hope this was interesting. And it's Sunday, so I hope you're relaxing, unless you're a seventh day, and I hope you relaxed yesterday. And even if you're not religious, it's nice to relax one day a week. Not have any responsibilities that you're jumping on and having to do. And enjoying a good John Wayne movie is a good way to spend the day. If you do, watch out for these emotional messages. And I got to go to town. Oh, it's hot in Germany. Huh. It's cold here. Like right now, I'm on the side of being cooler than I am hotter. But we're having a fluke year, which I'm happy about. In 2021, at this time, it was like 105 degrees. I remember the day came up on my Facebook memories where me and a gal that I'm friends with went for a motorcycle ride, and it was really hot. I thought it was late July when that happened, but the memory just popped up. Apparently it was yesterday, 2021. So already this time in June, it was like 110. Little did I know it was going to stretch on and through July, August, and September. What a year that was. And this year it's like 70 degrees. So 100 degrees, man. Yeah. I don't know if I could handle 100 degrees with my with that thing. I don't know. I'm still setting up shades up above my roof. I'm thinking about ordering this great big blue plastic, thick 30 mil or 20 mil, whichever one I buy. And I'm going to put a frame so that it shades it and see if I can keep my cabin cool from shade. And then I can use my swamp cooler. But we'll see. I don't want to buy a bigger solar setup for an air conditioner, but we'll see what works out. So anyway, so what am I going to do? I got to go to town, I guess. Actually, I don't think I will. The really pressing thing is I ran out of dog food, dog meat. But I think I can give them hamburger tonight and tomorrow morning. I would have to feed them hamburger. I don't like feeding them much hamburger. I don't mind a little. But gosh, if it keeps me from having to go to town, I think that's what I'll do. That way I can relax and enjoy the cool weather. Maybe watch a John Wayne movie. So, all right, folks. Hamburger. Yeah, I buy hamburger now. I'm running out of the buffalo meat that was given to me, and nobody has given me any animals or hit me up for any meat. In the past, they always do. I'm always provided for. Not because I beg for it. People that need to get rid of stuff contact me. And so it's both ways. It's for both. I don't go begging. And but so far nobody but also it's the wrong time of year to be butchering animals. I need to set up a butcher room that's fly free and can be cooled down. Even if it's just cooled down to 64 degrees with an air conditioner, that's better than being out in the sun. But that's down the road. So anyway, all right, folks, this has been fun for me. I hope it was fun for you. And I'll catch you next Saturday on the live stream over on the wild side. So I hope you all have a great day. Remember, life's a lot more fun kicking it next to a creek. Over and out.